The deeper a team advances in the girls' state basketball tournament, the excitement blossoms into something more. Whether if victory comes in the form of a blowout or hanging on at the end, there is the buzz that a team still gets to play together. Frankly, each playoff game is its own one-game basketball season. The 14th-ranked Aledo Lady Cats were not challenged this past Monday in their opening round playoff against Colleyville Heritage. Jumping out to a 20-2 lead after the first quarter, Aledo cruised to a 48-21 victory. Now things get a little tougher moving forward. The caliber of the next opponent improves. That's what the Lady Cats expect facing Joshua in this Class 5A Division I Region I area round playoff matchup here at Godley High School. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aledo Lady Cats playoff basketball on NTX Varsity Sports.com. I'm Kevin Lonnquist. I'm joined by our new media director, Parker Burrows. Usually opening round playoff games for the good teams, and that's what Aledo is, do not present much resistance. That's exactly what happened Monday at Eagle Mountain High School against Colleyville Heritage. The same was true for Joshua in its playoff opener against Pascal. The Lady Owls won at Pascal 62-29. But now we get to the round where the better teams meet. Nothing is guaranteed. It's a matter of following the game plan, playing sound defense, and capitalizing on every opportunity. Aledo was 25-7 and riding an 11-game winning streak. Joshua has enjoyed a phenomenal season, going 34-4, and at one point this team was ranked in the state Class 5A poll. Lady Owls finished in a tie for second place in District 8 5A at 11-3 behind champion and number 14 Cleburne. For Aledo, balanced scoring told the story in Monday's victory. Tiara Butler led the way with a double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Liz Griffin and Brooklyn Dempsey each added 9 points. Jaylee Owens jumped into the fray and chipped in 8. But tonight, it's going to be about the Lady Cats' full-court press defense facing a Joshua team that averages better than 54 points per game. Lady Owls are a balanced scoring team themselves. Freshman guard Alexi Ray averages 9 points per game, but the player to watch for Joshua will be junior guard Chloe Griswell. She averages 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. She's also a fierce defender. Griswell's number one sport is soccer, and she's committed to Duke University in that sport. But that soccer speed can make a difference on the court, something the Lady Cats ball handlers must take into account. The winner moves on to the Region 1 semifinals this coming Monday or Tuesday to take on either number 10 Amarillo Tascosa or El Paso Chapin. That game tipped off at 5 o'clock out in Monahans. When we return on our pregame show, we'll visit with Aledo head coach Donnie Ott. We'll review the Region 1 bracket, a big shocker to tell you about that impacts Aledo's side of things. Then we'll have the starting lineups, followed by the start of today's game. We're a few minutes away from tip-off here in Godley. We're coming to you courtside from the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Want to thank Hiley Mazda for supporting the Lady Bearcats in state basketball playoffs. Glad you are here with us on NTXVarsitySports.com. Tell your neighbors, friends, and out-of-state family about this new streaming platform to deliver you Aledo girls and boys playoff basketball. And tell them it's for free. You're listening to Aledo Lady Cats playoff basketball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Pre-game show continues. Now time to visit with Aledo head girls basketball coach Donnie Ott. Lady Cats are in the Class 5A Region 1 Division 1 area playoff matchup here in Godley High School to take on Joshua. And coach, obviously a big performance by your girls this past Monday at Eagle Mountain High School, taking care of Colleyville Heritage. Big lead in the first quarter, and I think maybe just the execution on both ends of the floor really set the tone of that one.
Yeah, I agree. We came out really firing on all cylinders. It looked like our kids were really locked in on the scout and what we needed to do to get in the areas to shoot and be successful. And I thought we really knocked down some big shots early, kind of extended that lead out to 18 at the end of the first. And it was really good to get that kind of a lead that early in your first playoff game.
Tiara Butler, double-double for you, 13 points, 11 rebounds, Maxton, I think 5 steals as well. But when she's going like that for you, what does that mean for the whole flow and execution and just the way your offense is going?
It really sets the tone because a lot of those rebounds were offensive rebounds. So, it gives us extra possessions, extra chances at the basket. And then defensively, when she gets real active like that, gets her hands on some balls. I mean, she had a couple deflections as well to go with those steals and got us out and running. And she just does a really good job. And when we can get her going early like that, it usually leads to some success on both ends of the floor.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you all on the defensive end because your full court press really bothered Colleyville Heritage. But I thought what was most impressive was just how you took Samari Stevenson, their top player, away from them. I think she managed maybe 2 or 3 buckets, and that was about it. So the fact that you guys took that number 1 scorer away from them really handcuffed them.
Yeah, I think that's been a really good focus. We have the ability, we have 3 really good defensive players individually that take a lot of pride in that we can kind of use either one of them to focus. We really did a great job. We put Kate Jackson on her, and Kate really locked in on her and tried to limit her. A lot of her points come off offensive rebounds, and Kate did a good job keeping her off the glass. And so I think with just us having the ability to interchange parts like that, it really helps.
And if you want to use a term, tip of the spear defense from Brooklyn Dempsey, the way she just got after their point guard and just kind of really set the tone for that press. And that really, if you're going to have a press that's going to be effective, it's got to start with a point guard going after that and kind of going after the opposing team's point guard.
Yeah, there's no question when Brooks Motor is going defensively, she can really hound the ball, and it sets up a lot of easy turnovers for us to get going in transition. And so I'm excited about seeing that tonight because I think we can take advantage of that tonight with their guard play.
Okay, so when you get 8 points from Jaylee Owens off the bench, you got a couple threes from her, obviously got another basket from her, but when you get that kind of production from her, that's kind of it's not so much a luxury, but it's something that you've got to have coming off your bench because you just can't have them taking minutes. You got to get some productivity too. If you take Jackson off the floor, if you take Liz Griffin off the floor, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're really blessed this year with that. We've got a really good 1-2 punch. Really, it's going down to 3 actually because Sarah Edwards has been really playing well the last several games, and so we've been really fortunate to be able to bring some kids off the bench that add some pop and that can get going. And like Jay only missed 1 shot, on Monday, and so I think we have that luxury this year of having the ability to kind of interchange some parts and still keep it going.
All right, so let's talk about this game against the Lady Owls. Of course, they're 34-4. Rick Dixon has done a heck of a job there since he's taken over that program there. What's the thing that really stands out to you as you were evaluating them on tape?
They play real hard. They get after it. You can tell they really trust his leadership and they're bought in. They get after it on both ends of the floor. They're really aggressive defensively, and offensively they don't make a whole lot of mistakes. They're real disciplined. They're fundamental. They got some good shooters outside, so it's going to be a good challenge for us tonight for sure.
What's the thing about them in terms of is it their speed? Because they're going to throw some press at you as well. So, and you were talking about that on our podcast on Wednesday night about that too. So what about them defensively that your guards have to be aware of?
We definitely have to make sure we're taking care of our passes. We got to make crisp passes. Can't look to throw anything long. I mean, they do a good job of anticipating, and they're super fast. So when things look open, they have the ability to cover some ground pretty quick. So we just got to really take care of our possessions on offense and value the basketball.
Okay, and obviously with a record like they have, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about the potential rematch of Amarillo-Tascosa. That game is already underway as we go on the air here tonight. But with a record like Joshua has, they can't afford to look ahead. I mean, they've got a really stiff competition in front of them tonight.
Yeah, definitely. There's no looking ahead with this game right here. I feel like last year, we had the ability to look ahead a little bit. We knew Timberview was kind of down, and they weren't playing as well. But Joshua is very, 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 very a good opponent, and they do a great job, and they're well coached. And so it's one of those games that I think it definitely prepares us for the third round. So that's why I'm excited about having this kind of game at this time.
All right, final question for you. What do you think it's going to take for you guys to move on to the regional semifinals? What do you want to see?
I just think if we focus on what we've been talking about this week in practice, the stuff that we've been working on against the boys, just stay focused on the details of our scouting report and just play hard. I think if we can do those 2 things, I think we have a good shot at moving on.
All right, good luck tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
High school hoops enthusiasts, mark your calendars for the back-to-back UIL State Basketball Champions at the Alamodome in San Antonio. The Girls Basketball Championships take place March 5th through the 7th and is followed by the Boys Championships March 12th through the 14th. Be there to witness history in the making. For all of the must-know details and to grab your tickets, visit uiltexas.org/basketball. Again, that's uiltexas.org/basketball. Kevin Lonnquist courtside here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table here as the Lady Cats and both the Lady Owls have made their way onto the court for their final warm-ups here. We should tell you, by the way, that the Lady Cats will once again be the visitors in this. They can't win a flip to be the home team to save their life if they wanted to, but that's kind of following a trend with Aledo Athletics because Robbie Jones, the football coach, never won a coin toss during the football season to see if he would get the ball first or not. He won a few of them, but didn't win all of them. And so anyway, let's give you the rundown here in Division I, Region 1 on this bracket here in Class 5A. The Monday results look like this. El Paso Chapin defeated El Paso Bel Air 46-30. Amarillo Tascosa, who the winner of this game will meet, or should be if the Tascosa takes care of Chapin this afternoon. But Tascosa beat Abilene Cooper 103-28. Again, those two teams tipped off about 45 minutes ago out there in Monahans. They're probably getting close toward the end, or at least they're in the second half at some point. Then the other game, of course, Aledo over Colleyville Heritage 48-21. Joshua over Pascal 62-29. Both those games were on Monday. Then the other half of the bracket looked like this. El Paso Americas defeated Canutillo 76-17. The upset, though, and this was the one that we highlighted in the opening, was Wichita Falls Legacy upsetting number 9 Amarillo 45-43. That really flipped that bracket around. And so now there's a meeting between El Paso Americas and Wichita Falls Legacy that's coming up in the area round in that one. Interesting matchup will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the area round over at the Arlington ISD Athletic Center between number 2 Denton Ryan and number 16 Cleburne. Ryan took care of Granbury on Monday by a final count of 51-19, and Cleburne ran away from Arlington Heights by a score of 80-15. But again, the 7 o'clock tip-off tomorrow night on the bottom half of the bracket between the number 2 Lady Raiders, who are the defending 5A Division I state champions from last year. So that's a look at your bracket. Again, the big upset, though, number 9 Amarillo knocked out in the opening round. So it just kind of tells you what this is all about when it comes to the playoffs. These are one-game seasons. If you're not right on a particular night, your season could be over. While we have a moment here, since we're about 10 minutes away from tip-off, let's give you the anticipated starting lineups. First of all, for the Aledo Lady Cats, under the direction of second-year coach Donnie Ott, they will go like this, as they have pretty much the entire season. Kate Jackson is a 5'9 junior. She is a guard/forward. Elizabeth Griffin is a senior 5'7 point guard. She will run this offense. Elizabeth, as you know, has signed with St. Mary's University down in San Antonio. Other guard will be 5'7 junior Brooklyn Dempsey. Brooklyn will be the point of that full court press for the Lady Cats tonight. In the post will be senior 6-footer Brenna Clock, and then Tiara Butler. They move in from Virginia from last year, 5'10 senior. And we should tell you, too, on the recruiting front for her, we are expecting that maybe a couple of junior college coaches might be in attendance to watch Tiara play tonight. Tiara, by the way, was on the Aledo Coaches Show podcast on Wednesday night over at Parker County Brewing Company, made her debut with us. But, again, she's coming off a huge game for the Lady Cats on Monday night. Now, for Joshua, they will look like this. And they are pretty young, but they also will have a pretty good experience. They will run about 8 deep on this team, but they do not have any seniors in this starting lineup. So they'll look like this. One freshman guard is Alexi Ray. She averages 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Then Hadley Soto is a sophomore. She's a forward. She averages 6 points, but she shoots 38% from three-point range. Austin Miller is a junior guard. She also averages 6 points, but she averages 42% from three-point range. And then the aforementioned Chloe Griswold, the Duke commit in soccer. Again, her line looks like this: 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals per game. And she will be the point person for that defense for Joshua tonight. And then finally, the other post is going to be junior Dylan Hammonds. She averages 4 points and 2 points per game. Lady Owls are under the direction of Rick Dixon. He is in his second year here in Southern Johnson County. He spent a lot of his career at Centerville, and so he has taken the job here, and it's really created a lot of buy-in here. Again, this program was in the midst of enjoying a really good run. They had only lost 1 game prior to the start of the District 8-5A season. They did wind up losing both matchups to Cleburne, which won the district. They also split with the team that they tied with for second place in Mansfield Summit. So 11-3 record for them. Joshua, again, 34-4. The other loss that the Lady Owls suffered was in a preseason tournament against Canyon. So that is a look at your starting lineups here. We're a few moments away from the tip-off of today's game between the Aledo Lady Cats and the Joshua Lady Owls. We should point out here in Godley, of course, if you don't know this gym or know this school, it is a pretty new building here, second year of existence. The football stadium, which is directly behind the basketball arena, and the basketball gym were part of a $360 million bond package. Last year was the first year for these building here. We're expecting a crowd, several hundred here tonight. We might get near capacity. The capacity for the gym is 1,500. They did open up a other set of seats that are directly to our north. They actually use that for other class activities here, but they decided that since the crowd might be a little bit bigger than normal for a playoff game, that they decided to open up those other seats. That's about another 300-400 seats, and that makes it about 2,000 of capacity. So plenty of room. And again, if you are listening to us as we're broadcasting the game, if you're here in Godley in the gym, just keep in mind that there's about a 15 to 20 second delay. So what you're watching versus what you're hearing are two different things. So just hang in there. But again, text all your friends and neighbors and family out of state if they're if they have a member of the Lady Cat basketball team playing tonight. Make sure that you point them in the direction of NTX Varsity Sports.com. Final warm-ups are going on between these two teams, and we'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to Aledo Lady Cats basketball on NTX Varsity Sports.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
A quick reminder to go listen to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast, where we sit down and meet with different members of the Aledo community, from coaches to players, talk about recruitment, games, and what's coming up. The Aledo Coaches Show podcast is made possible by H5 Sports Barn and NYE Physio and Performance. They can help you unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Lady Bearcats. With expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sport performance training, H5 Sports Barn is our proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats. And the Aledo Coaches Show podcast would not be possible without Hiley Mazda. Head to Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth today. Their new state-of-the-art facility is conveniently located just off of I-30. Exit Las Vegas Trail and experience top-notch service and hassle-free buying. Don't forget to ask about this month's special offers. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family-owned and operated for over 30 years.
All right, thanks, Parker. And again, the Lady Cats and the Lady Owls are continuing to go through final warm-ups here. We got up 2.5 minutes before we tip off this game this evening here. We should tell you that the Lady Cats will be in the same uniforms that they wore on Monday over at Eagle Mountain. Black tops, black shorts with the orange numerals lined in the black piping around the numbers here. And of course, for the Lady Owls, they will go with their all whites, white tops, white shorts. They got a little bit of a design on their short leg there on the outside of them, of course, and then the blue numerals there. So should be a good one here. Again, the winner will move on to take on the winner of El Paso Chafin and Amarillo Tascosa. That game underway over out in West Texas. And one thing about we can tell you about with the Lady Cats, what they did against Colleyville Heritage, is the fact that this team really took care of the basketball. Only committed 8 turnovers in the game. And I thought what was really important for them is that they did a great job of valuing the basketball here. You had Elizabeth Griffin with 4 assists against 2 steals. She had 2 assists and 3 steals, I should say. And then Brooklyn Dempsey, she had 4 assists and only 2 turnovers. So those were big things there as far as like taking care of the basketball. Again, we should see both these teams taking care of going after more of the press, operating out of that stands, operating out of that kind of that defensive flow. So we'll kind of see how that will all unfold here as far as the Lady Cats and the Lady Owls are concerned. For Joshua, they will have 3 players coming off their bench. You should look for sophomore guard Chloe Nippers, as well as sophomore forward MJ Allen, and then finally sophomore guard Lindy Freeman. So of all their players in their 8-player rotation between the 5 starters and the 3 primary players that come off the bench, they are all underclassmen. A little bit of a different story as far as the Lady Cats are concerned because they have a few seniors on the squad. Obviously 2 seniors or 3 seniors that are starting for them between Elizabeth Griffin, Brenna Clock, and Tiara Butler. Teams are about to go through the national anthem here, so we'll take a timeout here and then back with the tip-off between Aledo and Joshua here in Godley. The winner moves on to the 5A Division I Region I semifinals. You're listening to Aledo Lady Cats basketball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Our national anthem before this Class 5A Division I Region I area playoff game here in Godley here. My first trip to Godley, and I couldn't even tell you the last time I was here. I've been here, but it's been quite a long time ago, but they've done a beautiful job here. This was kind of a 3-phase project that Godley High School went through. They added, these were 3 different bond packages that the Godley ISD and of course the community all voted for. And they started with the high school, then they added an academic wing, and then finally they brought on the football stadium and then this arena here. The football stadium is quite the facility itself. We talked about that was part of a $360 million facility, or I should say bond package, that the voters approved in its second year. Had a chance to look at it, and of course the concourse level. They actually use that football stadium for part of their their technical classes here, so they're able to use it that way, kind of a multi-purpose kind of a way of using the football stadium. And then during the football season, they will turn that into the press box, so the media will cover the games. And the concourse that runs from the football stadium to the high school is quite interesting. Had a chance to tour the weight room as well. State-of-the-art facility, very first class in terms of all of its facilities there. So congratulations to the people at Godley as they are anticipating this. The enrollment for Godley, by the way, just to pass along a little bit more information, I think their enrollment's around 950. They built this high school because they are anticipating growth, and that this high school would probably meet up to about 1,800 students. So the growth down there, kind of like what we were seeing over at Saginaw for the first game that Aledo played over at Eagle Mountain High School against Colleyville Heritage, where that's a new school. They were anticipating growth, and Eagle Mountain High School actually moved up from 4A Division II to 5A Division II for the next realignment that's going to be coming up starting this summer when the volleyball seasons get going. Lady Cats have been introduced, and now the Lady Owls are going through their introductions. And again, the starting lineups for the Lady Cats one more time for you, in case you're just joining us here right before the tip-off. Kate Jackson, Elizabeth Griffin, Brooklyn Dempsey, Brenna Clock, and Tiara Butler. For Joshua, they will look like this. Alexi Ray is one guard. A forward is Hadley Soto. Another guard is Austin Miller. And Chloe Griswold is also the guard. She's the one that has committed to Duke to play soccer there in 2027. And then Dylan Hammonds is the post. She is a junior. Again, no seniors, or I take that back. One senior on this roster for Joshua. So a little bit of an experience difference. Lady Cats are trying to see if they can make it back to the Class 5A Division I Region I semifinals like they did last year. Last year's they were able to get past Mansfield Timberview in the area around before they got to take on Tascosa last year in the regional semifinals up in Haskell. And going to be a little bit of a different test tonight because Joshua has had a phenomenal season here. We're about to get this thing underway. Fort Worth chapter officials are going to be working this game this evening here. 3 officials will be working this game here in Godley. We are about to tap it up here between Kate Jackson and for Joshua will be Hadley Soto. Lady Cats will be on the north side in the visitors bench, and on the south bench will be the home team, Joshua. Tip is up in the air and controlled by the Lady Cats. Kate Jackson gets it off to Brenda Clock, who will get it off to Liz Griffin. Down court she goes, hands it off to Jackson, off the glass and in. Great find by Brooklyn Dempsey to Kate Jackson, and Aledo has the first basket of the game. 15 seconds into this one. Full court press by the Lady by the Lady Cats. 3 from the right wing on the way is no good. The fight for the loose rebound is taken by Brenda Clock. She'll hand it off to Kate Jackson, who gets it off to Liz Griffin. She'll jog it across the timeline on the left side of the court. She'll get it to Kate Jackson on the right wing. She'll dump it into Brenda Clock. Fires it out to Griffin. 3 from the left wing, no good. Loose ball on the floor, long rebound comes to Joshua, and that goes to Austin Miller. Here come the Lady Owls on the right side. Alexi Ray will drive, penetrate, and she misses a 2-footer. Fight for the loose ball. Butler takes it away from Dylan Hammonds of Joshua, and here come the Lady Cats the other way. Butler with the right-handed dribble. She'll get it off to Brooklyn Dempsey, who will drive the right baseline. Puts it off the window, no good, but the loose ball comes to the Lady Cats. Shot from the baseline, no good. And here come the Lady Owls, led by Chloe Griswold the other way, driving all the way for the layup and scores. And we are tied at a deuce for each side. 1 minute and 15 seconds into our ball game here in Godley. Liz Griffin will walk it across the timeline. She's going to be picked up, and now we got a stoppage and a whistle because we had an item that came onto the court right by on the Joshua side of the court where Aledo is trying to score on, and they had to remove that, so the official stopped play. So we will get a reset here. 6:35 to play in the first quarter, tied at 2. Kate Jackson dumps it into Tiara Butler, who will get it off to Liz Griffin. Trying to work off a Butler screen. Now we'll feed it off to Brooklyn Dempsey in front of the Joshua bench. Clock now has it. Now she'll cross-court it over to Kate Jackson to Butler at the top. She'll feed to Brenna Clock, but it's too wide and stolen by Joshua. Coming away with it is Alexi Ray. She'll drive, and she gets her shot blocked. Fight for the ball on the loose floor. Looks like we're going to get a tie ball situation, which we do, and it will favor Joshua here. Good job by Brenna Clock as she was fighting for that loose ball. She blocked the shot, couldn't get to the loose ball, and then we got a tie-up situation. So Joshua will get the ball right in front of us here at the broadcast table. Again, our thanks to Hiley Mazda for sponsoring Aledo Lady Cats basketball, and they will be carrying the Bearcats basketball team Tuesday night in Argyle, taking on Burville. Foul in the backcourt. It will go against Joshua as the fight for the loose ball will go against Chloe Griswold, her first, or check that against Chloe Nippers for Joshua, so the foul goes against the Lady Owls. So here come the Lady Cats with it. Brooklyn Dempsey on the right baseline will drive, loses the dribble, picks it up. Butler outside now, back to Dempsey. Thinks about a three, picked up by Griswold. To the top, Brenna Clock, jumper from the foul line, no good. Fight for the loose ball. It's tapped around and controlled by Griswold of Joshua. She'll drive it into the front court. Now she'll back it out, fires it over the left side, gets it over to MJ Allen on the left side. Now Hadley Soto has it. Now over to Alexi Ray, and we got a foul. Hand check foul. Looks like it's going to come against Brooklyn Dempsey. That's going to be her first. So one team foul for Aledo and one team foul for Joshua here. 5:24 to play in our first quarter, tied at 2. Aledo had the first basket, and then Joshua answered a few moments later. Griswold running the offense. She'll get it off to Ray on the left side. She'll drive it between the circles, holds up the dribble, almost shuffled her feet. She gets it back after passing it to Austin Miller. Now to Soto. And now a three from the top. It's going to be short, and it'll go out of bounds. Shot was taken by Austin Miller. She's the 42% three-point shooter, but her shot was well short. And then Tiara Butler did a wonderful job of screening everybody off and letting that basketball fall out of bounds so that Aledo would retain possession. Substitution for Aledo as Jaylee Owens has checked in for the Lady Cats here. Brooklyn Dempsey with it. Brenna Clock had checked out, by the way, for the Lady Cats. Jaylee Owens drives into the paint. She'll throw up the runner and scores. Jaylee Owens with her first basket of the night. And the Lady Cats have a 4-2 lead, 4.5 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Lower scoring game, of course, better opponent that Aledo is facing. Full court press. They have to throw it behind. Soto will take it. She'll throw it out of the left side to Ray, who is now double teamed. She loses the basketball. Kate Jackson steals it from her, and they will call a tie-up possession, tie ball situation, but the arrow favors the Lady Cats. Great defense, though, by Kate Jackson as they swarmed on a double team with Alexi Ray. Kate very strong with the ball, just couldn't control it there, though, at the last second, though, and that created the tie ball. But, again, the arrow favors the Lady Cats, and so on the next tie ball, it will favor Joshua. 4-2 lead for Aledo. Owens gets her three-pointer blocked. It'll go out of bounds, and it will go back to Joshua. Tiara Butler was trying to get the loose ball off the blocked shot. Good defense there by Joshua. So Brooklyn Dempsey will initiate the press. Now she's complimented by Liz Griffin. Ray with the basketball. She'll get it over to Austin Miller, who will drive. Now a three-pointer for Chloe Gibson from the left side. It's off the iron, no good. Liz Griffin comes away with the rebound for Aledo. Here come the Lady Cats. Griffin wants to get it down court. She does. Brooklyn Dempsey, a three from the right, is a little bit short. It hit off the iron, no good, and here come the Lady Owls, led by Griswold. She'll drive, she loses it, she gets it tapped from behind, knocked out of her hands by Brooklyn Dempsey, but Joshua will retain the basketball here. 3:45 to play here, first quarter. Aledo 4, Joshua 2. Griswold with the basketball, she's picked up by Liz Griffin. Now she'll back it out in between the circles, wants to try and reset the offense. Aledo with their man-to-man defense. Hammonds with the basketball. She'll drive into the paint. She's working against Butler. She tries to put it up, and she does, and she scores, and we're tied at 4. Dylan Hammonds with her first basket of the night. Here come the Lady Cats the other way. Kate Jackson to Jaylee Owens, who will drive the right baseline. Now she'll back it out. Jackson on the right wing. Now she'll hold up the dribble, get it to Brooklyn Dempsey at the top. Now to Jaylee Owens. A 3 right from the baseline. That's too long. And they fight for the loose ball. Kate Jackson, she'll throw it off a Joshua player, but I think she was out of bounds. And so Joshua will retain possession of the basketball here at the 3:02 mark. Joshua has a substitution. That's sophomore forward MJ Allen, who we mentioned. Again, this is a team that will go 3 deep for head coach Rick Dixon. First quarter here in Godley, this 5A Division I Region I area playoff. 34-4 Joshua, 25-7 Aledo. Full court press by the Lady Cats. Joshua trying to break it. They just get it across the timeline here. Griswold will get it back and reset the offense between the circles. Picked up by Kate Jackson. Trying to work off a screen, does Jackson to Hammonds. Hammonds will get it back to Griswold at the top, who's trying to run the offense here, trying to move somebody out to a meter at the top. But Griswold will take the shot from 17 off the glass and in. And Joshua takes its first lead at 6-4. Here come the Lady Cats the other way. Tiara Butler with the left-handed dribble, tries to work to the middle of the floor. Now she'll get it over to Brenna Clock, to Liz Griffin. Now to Kate Jackson on the right baseline in front of the Joshua bench. Her pass to Liz Griffin gets deflected out of bounds by Chloe Griswold, but Aledo will retain at the 2:12 mark of the second quarter. 6-4, Joshua leads. Griffin will drive off the inbounds pass. She'll go to the baseline. Now she'll take it out. Now she'll try to reset. She throws it out to Kate Jackson on the right wing. To Liz Griffin. Works off a Jackson screen. She holds it up, dumps it into Clock. Fires it back out to Griffin for a 3 from the right side. No good. Fight for the rebound, and that's going to come down to Joshua. That's Chloe Griswold the other way. She will drive into the paint, back it out, gets it out to Miller for a 3. That's good. And Donnie Ott will take a timeout here. Austin Miller had missed her first 3-pointer, but she was good on that one. And now it's a 5-point lead in favor of Joshua at 9-4 with 1:41 to play here in this first quarter. Timeout to take a few seconds here, a 30-second timeout here. And just want to remind you that Aledo Bearcats basketball is brought to you by H5 Sports Barn. H5 Sports Barn and iPhysio and Performance can help unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Aledo Bearcats. With expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training, H5 Sports Barn, proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats. Kevin Longquist and Parker Burrows here courtside at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Again, we will have the boys basketball game for you on Tuesday night up at Argyle when they take on number 6 Burville High. Of course, Burville was in the 5A Division I state championship game last year. So a great test for the Bearcats under the direction of first-year coach Drew Baker. Lady Cats out of the timeout. Kate Jackson will dump it to Brenna Clock on the right wing. She tries to dump it in to Tiara Butler, but it's a turnover. The pass is intercepted by Joshua. Lexi Ray has it. Now she gets it over to Chloe Gibson, who will dribble against Liz Griffin. Throws it over to the right wing to Alexi Ray. Bounce pass to the right side. Now a cutting pass. Throws it over to MJ Allen. She will drive. Now she looks over to Austin Miller, who now has to back it out on the left side. She'll throw it out on a diagonal pass to Alexi Ray here. In between the circles here. Brooklyn Dempsey applying the defense here. Chloe Griswold with the ball in front of the Aledo bench. She's picked up by Liz Griffin. Cross-court pass coming to Alexi Ray. Now gets it back to Griswold. Down to 45 seconds here in the first quarter. 9-4 Joshua leads. Driving with the basketball is Ray. Now gets it off to MJ Allen. A jumper is an air ball. Put the rebound there by Hammonds for Joshua, but a steal in the backcourt by Liz Griffin for Aledo. 34 seconds to play first quarter. Lady Cats down by 5. Tiara Butler with it on the right baseline. Gets it off to Brooklyn Dempsey. Now she'll back it off here. Lady Cats might hold for the last shot or the first available. Jackson will dump it inside to Tiara Butler. Too strong over the glass, no good. Over the iron, rather, no good. And coming away with it is Joshua here. 14 seconds. Griswold will hold it up. She'll get it out to Miller at the top. Now back to Griswold. Final play of this first quarter. Griswold will drive. Off the glass, no good. Rebound comes to Clock. She holds it high, and the first quarter will come to an end. Lady Cats scored the first game. They had an early 4-2 lead, but it's a 7-0 run for Joshua to close the first quarter. Back with the second quarter after this. It's Joshua 9 and Aledo 4, and you're listening to Aledo Lady Cats basketball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Kevin Lonnquist and Parker Burrows here in Godley for this Class 5A Division I Region 1 area playoff matchup between Aledo and Joshua. Joshua with a 9-4 lead as we start the second quarter. It'll be Joshua's ball coming out of the timeout since they get the arrow to start the quarter. Then the arrow will flip back to Aledo here. 7-0 run for the Lady Owls to close the first quarter. Tiara Butler has not scored yet for the Lady Cats on their offensive side. Here we go, starting the second quarter. With the basketball is Alexi Ray. She'll get it over to Austin Miller to Hadley Soto. Her three is too long, and the long rebound comes to Kate Jackson, but Jackson loses it, and so Joshua gets it back. Then we got another tie ball, and we got a held ball situation, but that arrow will favor the Lady Cats there as Kate Jackson grabbed the long rebound, but then she couldn't secure it, and she got harassed by Hadley Soto of Joshua. Then they had a fight for the loose ball, and so that's what created the tie ball situation here. 9-4 Joshua leads. First minute of this second quarter here. Kate Jackson with it. She'll dump it inside to Cardenas. To Liz Griffin, a three from the baseline. That's good. Right in front of the Joshua bench, and the Lady Cats have their first three-pointer of the night. It's now 9-7. Almost equaling their point total of the first quarter. Here comes Joshua the other way. Griswold will drive. She'll hold it up at the foul line. Gets it off to the right side to Hadley Soto. Now back to the top. Between the circles is Griswold. Holding it up, trying to make sure that the spacing is right here. Kate Jackson now comes out to greet Griswold near the half-court stripe. Griswold gets it out of screen, and we got a 5-second call against Joshua. That goes against Griswold. She didn't advance the basketball. You don't see that 5-second call too much, but if you don't advance the basketball with the defender on you, then you're going to get whistled for it, and that's what happened there. Lady Cats with a chance to tie here, or maybe take the lead with a three. Pass comes inside to Kennedy Cardenas. She goes up with it, but she loses it out of bounds, and so Joshua will retain possession. She was going up with it, got it blocked, and then the ball got loose, and then it went off her leg and out of bounds, and so Joshua will get the ball back. So here they come against this Aledo full court press right to us. Fortunately, I didn't have to catch it, and so it stays in play. We got a held ball situation, and nope, and Tiara Butler takes it away from Joshua's Alexi Ray. Here come the Lady Cats. Brooklyn Dempsey. Kate Jackson thinks about a three, now drives the paint. Back out to Brooklyn Dempsey at the top, at the three-point line. To the right side to Liz Griffin. Holds the ball high, gets it back to Brooklyn Dempsey. Now swings it over to Kate Jackson. A three from the left baseline, or the left wing rather. No good. It'll go out of bounds as setting the screen to make sure nobody else would go get it was Austin Miller for Joshua. So that means the Lady Owls will take it. It was a great look for Kate Jackson, just didn't go down. Rugged game so far here as we're nearing 2 minutes into this second quarter. 9-7 Joshua leads. Half court trap beaten by Joshua. They'll swing it out to the right side, driving into the paint, losing the basketball. Coming away with it for Aledo is Liz Griffin. Lady Cats with another opportunity to tie or take the lead. Brooklyn Dempsey at the top, feeds it inside to Kennedy Cardenas. Back out to Liz Griffin, a three from the left wing, that's no good. The fight for the loose rebound, and the rebound is no good by Tiara Butler. Back to Liz Griffin, three at the top, and good. Liz Griffin rack it up for a three-pointer, her second three-pointer of this quarter, and the Lady Cats take a 10-9 lead and a timeout by Rick Dixon of Joshua. Great tenacity there by Tiara Butler as she went up on that first shot attempt underneath the basket. Didn't get it to go down because she went straight up and the ball went straight right back to her, but she saw Griffin uncovered from Griffin's favorite spot just outside that foul line on the left side, and Griffin knocked it down. And so the Lady Cats reclaim the lead. They have the last 6 points of this game. Griffin has all 6 points in this quarters, both coming on three-pointers, and the Lady Cats have a 10-9 lead here at the 5:36 mark of the second quarter. Kevin Lonnquist to you courtside here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Just about what Donnie Ott thought, that it was going to be a really tough matchup for them and that they were going to have to fight to try and win this matchup here. Again, Lady Cats trailed by 5 after the first quarter. Full court press on the inbounds pass. Joshua gets it in, double teamed in the backcourt, but they're able to get it into Alexi Ray, who will fire it down to Griswold, who will drive the baseline. She'll take a jumper from 14. That's too long. Over the back on the rebound, but the loose ball comes to Joshua. Jumper from 18 off the iron, no good. Now for the loose ball is thrown from Austin Miller to Elizabeth Griffin. That's not who Miller wanted to throw it to, but Aledo's fine with that. Here come the Lady Cats. Left-handed dribble for Liz Griffin. Gets it to Brooklyn Dempsey on the left wing. Foul line extended. Now the Lady Cats want to try and run a set, trying to dump it inside. Dempsey can't. She'll flip it back out to Griffin on the left side. Picked up by Griswold. 4:50 to go here in the second quarter. 10-9, Aledo leads. Jackson on the receiving end of a pass gets it knocked away and out of bounds by Hadley Soto. And so Aledo will retain possession right in front of the Joshua bench here. Good crowd that has filled in for this one. Several hundred are here in attendance in this gym in Godley. Here comes Brooklyn Dempsey driving off the iron, and it is good. High off the top of the backboard, got a kind bounce on the rims, and it's settled through the net nicely, and the Lady Cats have a 3-point lead, their largest. It's 12-9. Full court press once again for Aledo. Here comes Alexi Ray. She'll drive it back out. Now they want to reset the offense here. Griswold in between the circles. Now she'll back it out. Wants to direct traffic as Liz Griffin comes halfway out to meet Griswold. Trying to work off a screen. Now does it. Soto with the basketball. She'll get it over to Ray, who wants to drive. Tries to work around a screen. Ray will dump it out to the right side to Soto. Pass gets deflected inside. It was going toward Dylan Hammonds, but we got a foul against Aledo here. Second team foul for them. Foul will go against Kennedy Cardenas, her first. One team foul, first team foul for Aledo in this quarter, and we'll take a timeout here. By the way, we should tell you here, this beautiful scoreboard here at the top here in Godley. So they list all the points, they list all the fouls. So Aledo at this point, nobody in trouble here on the fouls here. Brooklyn Dempsey has one, Kennedy Cardenas also has one. Only one foul for Joshua at this point, and that's Chloe Gibson. She has one. So officials letting them play. The play has been very good here, though, to this point, Parker. I think it's been really it's been kind of what you get in an area playoff matchup. This is kind of
it's a lot of really good back and forth.
Yeah, and it's harassing defense. Shots, looks are hard to come by. Aledo's gotten a few from the three-pointer, just haven't been able to knock them down. But anything inside, it's been really hard for Tiara Butler to get anything going here for Aledo at this point.
Well, that's a really good thing for a team to be able to do, is overcome adversity, and we saw that adversity in the first. So we're coming back now.
Three-pointer from the right baseline on the way and too strong off the iron for Hadley Soto. Aledo comes away with it. Kate Jackson on the rebound. She'll get it to Butler, who will drive it across. She'll hold it up back to Jackson on the right wing. Foul line extended to Brooklyn Dempsey at the top. She's picked up by Ray. Now Dempsey will drive, loses the basketball, but deflects it, but still Joshua comes away with it. Chloe Griswold the other way. Lady Cats had a chance to extend it to 5, maybe 6, couldn't do it. Defensive now for the Lady Cats. Ray with it. She'll dump it outside to Hadley Soto. Now back to Ray, who will hold up the dribble. Butler applying the defense there. Swings it out. Driving with it now is Hammonds. She will go underneath the baseline to MJ Allen. Now back out to Soto for a 3. That's off the iron, no good. And here come the Lady Cats on the long rebound as Jaylee Owens possesses it. Another chance for Aledo to extend this 3-point lead, nearing the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. Dempsey will drive the right baseline. She'll throw it off the iron, no good. It rims out. Probably needed to use the backboard there, but it didn't go in, and so it remains 12-9 in Aledo's favor. 3 at the top, on the way, and off the backboard, no good. That was well off by Hadley Soto. fight for the loose ball underneath, and I think we got a timeout called by Donnie Ott as Tiara Butler came up with the ball off the backboard. That ball never hit the rim, but she went down, and she was being covered by one of the Lady Owls defenders, and she immediately called timeout. Now, Aledo has burned 2 timeouts here in this game, so now they're down to 2 in this. So 12-9. Aledo leads at the 2-minute and 50-second mark here of the second quarter. Glad you're with us here on NTXVarsitySports.com. A couple things to bring you back as far as with the Lady Cats were concerned in their game against Colleyville Heritage on Monday night, where Brooklyn Dempsey shot 57% for the game, 3 of 5 on her three-pointers. And then Liz Griffin, for her, she was 3 out of 5 rather, on her three-pointers in this ball game. So she had a really great shooting night. Of course, Liz Griffin has 2 threes in this second quarter. Aledo also has another basket from Brooklyn Dempsey. They have scored 8 points. They have held Joshua without a point here in the second quarter. It's 12-9. Aledo leads. Lady Cats with the basketball to Tiara Butler. Liz Griffin with a jumper from 3 on the right side. Ring it up for Liz Griffin, her third. She's getting hot. That's her third of this quarter, third of the game. And the lead now is at 15-9. Down the court, the Lady Owls go. Chloe Griswold was trying to dribble it. She got it knocked out of her hands, but fortunately it went out of bounds for Joshua. Knocked away by Brooklyn Dempsey, and so Joshua retains possession. Griswold with it, hounded by Griffin. Again, Griswold is this team's leading scorer at 18 points a game. They have kept her off the scoreboard. Driving with it is Ray. She'll drive it up and in and score. Foul will go against more than likely Brooklyn Dempsey. That would be her second. So it is an and-one situation there for Alexi Ray. She has the first basket of this quarter for Joshua. Now a chance to make it a three-point play. On the way, and good. Three-point play converted for Joshua. It's now 15-12 in favor of Aledo. Here come the Lady Cats the other way. Brooklyn Dempsey running at the point, in between the circles, now dribbles it to the right side. Gets it to Jackson at the top. She'll swing it over to Griffin on the left side. She's picked up by Griswold. That matchup has been fun to watch tonight between Griswold and Griffin. Brooklyn Dempsey now on the right wing. She'll take a three from the right side. Knocks it down. Lady Cats with their fourth three of this quarter. Brooklyn Dempsey with her first. She's up to 5 points. The lead is now 6 at 18-12. So the Lady Cats match the and one from Joshua with their own three, back to a 6-point lead. 90 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Here come the Lady Owls the other way. Griswold with it. Picked up by Griffin, of course. Hands it off to Ray. On the left side, foul line extended. Dempsey applying the pressure. Ray will back it out now between the circles from a screen. Didn't get much out of it. Now driving it is going to be Soto. Shot is running around and it drops. Well, it just hung on the rim, hit that back rim, kind of just stayed flat, and then it rolled around and in. So it's 18-14 in favor of the Lady Cats. Under a minute to play here in this first quarter. Griffin in front of the Joshua bench will get it to Tiara Butler, who has not scored in this game. Keep that in mind. Jackson with it on the top. The pass to Butler is deflected, but Aledo gets it back. Once again to Butler, who will put it on the floor. Off the backboard, no good. But the putback there is scoring, is Brooklyn Dempsey. Johnny on the spot, if you were for Brooklyn Dempsey, as Butler's shot was too wide, but nobody cleaned up on the weak side, and Dempsey was there to put it up and in. 20-14 lead for the Lady Cats. Joshua with the ball on the right baseline, throwing it up as Griswold. That is going to go in. Well, she kind of threw it in off the backboard here, and it rattled around the rim and dropped through. Griswold with her 6th point of the day. Down to 10 seconds for Aledo with the basketball. Jackson is going to get fouled badly. She's going to get extremely grabbed by Hadley Soto. That might be one of the most blatant fouls I've ever seen. Now, credit Joshua, that was only their first team foul of the quarter, and it stops the clock with 4.8. Good decision there, though, by Rick Dixon. They've got fouls to give. Dempsey with the ball. She will drive all the way up. She will throw it up, and no good. Rebound comes to Joshua's Alexi Ray, and that ends the first half. Lady Cats with a strong second quarter here. They scored 16 points. They got hot from the three-point line. Liz Griffin with 3 three-pointers and 1 three-pointer for Brooklyn Dempsey. And the Lady Cats have a 20-16 lead as we go to the break. After this timeout, you're listening to Aledo Lady Cats playoff basketball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
High school hoops enthusiasts, mark your calendars for the back-to-back UIL state championships at the Alamodome in San Antonio. The girls basketball championships take place March 5th through the 7th and is followed by the boys championships March 12th through the 14th. Be there to witness history in the making. For all the must-know details and to grab your tickets, visit uiltexas.org/basketball. Again, that's uiltexas.org/basketball. Kevin Lonnquist and Parker Burrows here courtside here in Godley. Aledo leads this game over Joshua, 20-16, Class 5A, Division I, Region I area playoff matchup. Again, the winner to get the winner. That game probably just finished between number 10 Amarillo Tascosa and El Paso Chapin. See if we can get a final here before we go off the air tonight. But again, the winner will move on to play the winner of that game here in the regional semifinals Monday or Tuesday of next week. Taking a look at the stats so far in this game for Aledo, they are shooting 4 from 11 from two-point range. That's 36%, but better from three-point range, 4 out of 10. Remember, the Lady Cats got off to a slow start where they had missed their first 4 attempts of the first quarter, but then they got hot when Liz Griffin knocked down 3 of them, and Brooklyn Dempsey added another one in that second quarter. So 4 of 10 for the Lady Cats shooting from three-point range. Lady Cats have 9 total rebounds in this game. 2 of those on the offensive end, 7 of those on the defensive end. They do have 6 steals, only turned it over 3 times, have only 1 deflection. By the way, they've only committed 2 fouls, but the thing to watch there is that both fouls have gone to Brooklyn Dempsey, so something to watch there for Donnie Ott and his staff. Scoring-wise for the Lady Cats, pretty simple to this point. 9 points for Liz Griffin, 7 points for Brooklyn Dempsey, and 2 points each for the Lady Cats coming from Jaylee Owens as well as Kate Jackson. Now, scoring-wise for Joshua here, they are led by Chloe Griswold. She's got 6. A three-pointer coming from Alexi Ray, and then a couple of points coming from each on the two-point end from Hadley Soto as well as Dylan Hammonds there. And that's a look at your scores here. We should point out, too, that they did update the timeouts here. So both teams each have 3 timeouts. I think I'd said earlier in the broadcast, and they didn't update it on the scoreboard until they just corrected it. But I said at one point that Aledo was down to 2 timeouts, but they actually still have 3. So that's a good sign for the Lady Cats here. And remember, they were down. These Lady Cats were down by a count of 9-4 after the first quarter. So they outscored Godley in that second quarter, 16-7 here to get control of the lead. The lead has been as big as 6 on a couple of occasions at 15-9 and 18-12 here. And so a 20-16 lead for the Lady Cats. We'll see what happens here. And of course, the Lady Cats will be shooting in front of their own bench, and Joshua will be shooting in front of its own bench. Want to remind you that Aledo Lady Cats playoff basketball is brought to you by Hiley Mazda. Head to Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth today. Their new state-of-the-art facility is conveniently located just off of I-30, exit Las Vegas Trail, and experience top-notch service and hassle-free buying. Don't forget to ask about this month's special offers. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family owned and operated for over 30 years. We'll take a timeout here. Second half is on here in Godley, where Aledo leads Joshua by a score of 20-16. Back after this timeout.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Back here in Godley, moments away from starting the second half. Both teams haven't taken the floor yet to get started with their warm-ups before the second half. But again, want to get you caught up again on Class 5A Region 1, the area playoff games that are going to be taking place in this bracket. Of course, you know about the El Paso Chapin Tascosa matchup. We're trying to get a final on that, which obviously it started at 5 o'clock out at Monahans rather. It's probably gone final more than likely here. And Tascosa was heavily favored to win that matchup again. Now that's this side of the bracket where the two winners of this game and then that game will meet in the regional semifinals next week. The other half of the bracket features El Paso Americas and Wichita Falls Legacy. And then tomorrow night, 7 o'clock tip-off over at the Arlington ISD Athletic Center. That will be a top 20 matchup between number 2 and defending state champion Denton Ryan taking on number 16 and District 8-5A champion Cleburne, which is in the same district that Joshua is in. And Cleburne had beaten Joshua in both meetings this year. But again, the Lady Jackets and the Lady Raiders getting ready to play tomorrow night, 7 o'clock tip-off there. So you would imagine that they would be trying to play on Tuesday, the winner coming out of that one there. Again, the Lady Cats leading this game by a score of 20-16 here. And something notable for, as we mentioned a couple times in the second quarter, is that Aledo's leading scorer, Tiara Butler, has not scored in this game. She averages nearly 13 points a game, has not scored, has had a couple of baskets, but she has drawn a lot of attention underneath the basket. Every time she's catching it, she's getting double teamed in the post. So it's a case where you see what Donnie Ott can do to try and stretch her out, to kind of flex her out, see if you can give her some better looks, that sort of thing.
So Kevin, I'm looking over here on Facebook.
As Parker Burrows jumps in here. Go ahead, Parker.
And we do have an update on the Tascosa game.
Okay.
Tascosa did win. Nobody's reported the score yet, but the Tascosa Lady Rebels will be moving on from area champions.
All right. Again, that was expected. We haven't gotten a final score, but again, we do know that Tascosa won that game over El Paso Chapin. I will tell you that Donnie Ott, if Aledo was fortunate to come away with this victory, would prefer to play this this regional semifinal game on Tuesday. Joshua has their own designs on what they want to do about this game as well. But again, that's the early thinking from Aledo standpoint. Happy that you're with us here on NTX Varsity Sports. Again, here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Final score in that game was 62-20 in favor of Tascosa. So the Lady Rebels did win that game comfortably. Again, that was pretty well expected. Aledo's ball to start the second half here as we open the third quarter. Liz Griffin will bring it across the timeline. She'll get it over to Kate Jackson. She's picked up by Austin Miller. Now over to the right side. Pass inside to Case Jackson. Gets it blocked. Gets it back to Kate Jackson. We got a fight for the ball on the floor between Jackson and Alexi Ray. And the arrow will favor Joshua. So the Lady Cats were not able to get anything going underneath. Kate Jackson had a great look at it. Just didn't get it down, unfortunately. So Joshua will get the ball. They will streak it up, and traveling with the basketball and knowing that she did it was Alexi Ray. Great defense there by the Lady Cats in front of the sideline of Aledo there to force that turnover there. So the Lady Cats get it right back here. Tiara Butler will get it into Liz Griffin. She's picked up by Griswell in front of the Aledo bench. Bounce pass to Butler in front of the Aledo bench. To the top to Kate Jackson. Left side to Liz Griffin. She gets it back. She'll jump it from about 14. That's off the iron, no good. Rebound, though, comes to Brenna Clock to Brooklyn Dempsey. She will drive, and she actually traveled with it. Put her feet on the floor before she put the basketball on the floor, so a turnover against the Lady Cats. That's their fourth of the game. And so they turn it back over, and here comes Joshua the other way. Cross-court pass is picked up by Hammonds. Now back to Griswold at the top. She's picked up by Kate Jackson. So the defense has kind of switched a little bit here for Aledo. Holding it high is Soto. She'll get it to Griswold. Driving against Jackson. Now she'll back it out. 7 minutes to go here, third quarter. No scoring change. It's still 20-16. Griswold will drive on the left baseline against Jackson. She'll throw it back out to Soto at the top. Now she'll swing it back out to Ray on the left side in front of the Joshua bench. Good defense here by the Lady Cats, preventing blockouts until Ray drives and fouled on the drive up. She missed the shot, but she will be getting free throws here. Foul will be going against, I believe, that should go against Tiara Butler. It is. It's her first for Aledo. So 2 free throws coming for Alexi Ray. Lady Cats have not shot a free throw in this game. First of 2 for Ray, who averages 9 points a game. She hits the first. It's now 20-17 at the 6:44 mark of this third quarter. Second one on the way, good as well. So it's now 20-18 in favor of Aledo, and the Lady Cats will bring it across the timeline. Here comes Dempsey. She works against Ray. She'll back it out now. Still picked up by Ray. She'll drive it in front of the Aledo bench. Loses the basketball. Now gets control of her dribble again. She'll back it out to Butler, to Griffin on the left side. Butler tries to set a screen at the top, allowing Griffin to try and drive. Griffin will go to the right side off that screen. She'll get it to Dempsey. A 3 from the right is off the iron, no good. Long rebound comes down to Miller for Joshua. Here come the Lady Owls. Griswold gets a tap from behind. Jackson tries to come away with it. And we got another held ball, and this one will favor Aledo. Great defense there by Kate Jackson there. She came from behind on Chloe Griswold, knocked it out of her hands, and then swung around her hip and was able to create the tie ball situation. Kate Jackson has been really, really good on the defensive side, and Aledo gets it back up by a deuce. 6 minutes to play here in our third quarter. And now we got a whistle stoppage here. I think they were trying to correct something. I think they were trying to get a substitution in for Aledo, which was Jaylee Owens. Yeah, they stopped that, so Jaylee Owens checks in for Aledo. Brooklyn Dempsey will check out. Griffin will take the inbounds pass. Of course, you got to be careful with Dempsey. She's got 2 fouls. Pass into the interior to Butler. Back to Owens. A 3 on the right. It's off the iron. No good. Tip on the long rebound. Great job by Liz Griffin. She saves it for Aledo. Now to Kate Jackson at the top. Owens between the circles. Will dribble it out. Now she holds it up, and then she throws it to Butler. who can't get over there and retrieve it, and it's a turnover against the Lady Cats. Or it actually, I beg your pardon, it's tipped by one of the Lady Owls, and so Aledo will retain possession. I got screened by one of the players there. Couldn't tell if it was off the Lady Cats or the Lady Owls. Griffin on the drive. She gets fouled on the floor. This will be on the floor. The foul will come against Austin Miller of Joshua. And Aledo will inbound underneath its own basket. Now Brooklyn Dempsey will check back in for Aledo. And sitting down is Brenna Clock. So Donnie Ott will go a little bit small. Outlet pass is going to be deflected and then saved by Brooklyn Dempsey, but it was touched by Chloe Gibson of Joshua, so Aledo will get it back. Dempsey will take a jumper from 14. That's short. Kate Jackson gets it blocked, but the loose ball comes to Jaylee Owens, to Liz Griffin. Now to Kate Jackson. She does a pump fake. She puts it up. No good, but she'll be shooting free throws. Kate Jackson has been all over the floor for the Lady Cats tonight on the defensive end and on the rebounds. Foul will go against Joshua's Chloe Griswold. That is her second personal. 2 free throws coming for Kate Jackson. First free throws of the night coming for the Lady Cats. First one on the way, short. Aledo still looking for its first points of this quarter. 5 minutes, 12 seconds to play in the third. Aledo 20, Joshua 18. Jackson gets the second, so the lead back to 3 at 21-18 in favor of the Lady Cats. Here comes Joshua the other way. Ray with it. Jaylee Owens will greet her between the circles. Now trying to work off a screen from some. Here comes Ray driving. Layup is off the iron, no good. She had it right in her hands and lost it. Here comes Kate Jackson. She's got a defender on her hip. That's Ray, but she's able to control the basketball. Jackson to Butler on the right side in front of the Aledo bench. Now to Liz Griffin between the circles. Gets it off to Jackson on the right wing to Butler. Butler will drive. Throws it up, and it's off the iron, no good. The rebound comes to Joshua's Dylan Hammonds. Here come the Lady Owls the other way. With it is Austin Miller. She'll dump it back to Griswold, who will run the offense here. A 3-point lead for Aledo. 3.5 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Happy that you're with us here in Godley on NTXVarsitySports.com. We're at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Griswold will take a 3 to try to tie, and it's good, and we are tied at 21. 9 points for Griswold, the leading scorer for this team. So we start over again, tied at 21, halfway through this third quarter. They kind of sagged off of her, and Griswold said, well, if you're going to leave me open, I'm going to go ahead and take the shot. Kate Jackson the other way. She'll get it off to Jaylee Owens, who will drive on the left side, and she gets bumped by Dylan Hammonds on her drive to the basket. It'll be an inbounds pass for Aledo here. Third team foul for Joshua. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go here. Remember, when you get to 5 team fouls in a quarter, you get to shoot free throws. Griffin tries to throw it in. She gets it to Brooklyn Dempsey on the right baseline. She'll swing it back out to Kate Jackson. She'll back it out as Aledo tries to run a set play. Again, Tiara Butler, no points so far for the Lady Cats. This is Griffin on the left side. Gets it to Jaylee Owens between the circles. Now she'll drive on the right side. She gets fouled on the drive. I think they're going to get Alexi Ray on that. Yeah, they're going to get Alexi Ray on that. That's the 4th team foul against Joshua on Owens' drive to the basket. So 4 team fouls. Aledo will still have to inbounds this ball here. Tied at 21. 3.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Dempsey takes the inbounds pass. A jumper 3 from the left baseline, no good. Rebound, though, comes to Butler. She'll get it off to Owens. She'll think about a jumper from 18. That's too long. Rebound, though, comes on the floor to Brooklyn Dempsey. She picks it up, gets it over to Liz Griffin. She'll drive the left baseline, backs it out. Now she'll try to reset the offense. Gets it to Brooklyn Dempsey. Great offensive prowess on the boards for the Lady Cats. Griffin, a 3 from the left side. Rack it up. Liz Griffin, her 4th 3 of the day. Lady Cats back on top, 24-21. Here comes Griswold the other way for Joshua. She dribbles into traffic, is able to maintain the dribble, then backs it out. She's looking for Hammonds to give her a screen on the left side. She will drive this Griswold, and she loses it off of her foot and out of bounds. and turns it over. And Aledo will get the ball back here with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to play, leading by a score of 24-21. I think we might say first one to 35 probably wins this game the way we're going here at this pace. Griffin with the basketball for Aledo to Brooklyn Dempsey on the left side between the circles to Jaylee Owens, who's gotten a lot of playing time in this ball game. She'll get it off to Brooklyn Dempsey. Cross-court pass to Kate Jackson. Fakes a three on Griswold. She'll hold up the dribble. Loses the basketball, but retains her possession, gets it to Griffin. She'll drive on a move. She'll drive off the glass. It's no good. She leaves it short. She put a great move on Austin Miller of Joshua. She just left it short. Here comes Joshua the other way. Pass to the right side. A three to tie. On the way. Rims out. Heartbreak for Alexi Ray, but good fortune for Aledo. Here come the Lady Cats the other way. Kate Jackson off the backboard. No good. They had the transition play. Just didn't go down. And we have Kate Jackson fouling MJ Allen of Joshua as she was trying to knock the ball out of her hands on the defensive board, but Kate Jackson picks up the foul for Aledo. Second team foul for the Lady Cats here in this third quarter. We're under 2 minutes to play. Lady Cats lead by 3. Griswold with the basketball. Now she hands it off to Ray on the right wing. Now she's picked up by Jaylee Owens. She will drive right-handed. Has to back it up. Great defense by Owens against her. Nothing inside for either team for the most part in this game. Owens falls down. Ray picks up the dribble. She'll get it off to Hammonds, who will drive. Now she'll get it back out to Miller on the left side in front of the Joshua bench. She'll get it to Ray at the top. 1:20 to play here, third quarter. Aledo 24, Joshua 21. Here comes Ray over the left side. Now she dribbles. She gets it held. She picks up her dribble. Here comes Hammonds, and she traveled with it. It was pretty obvious in front of the Joshua bench. She did basically the same thing that Brooklyn Dempsey did earlier in this quarter, moved without putting the ball on the floor. That's an easy call for this Fort Worth officiating crew. And so Aledo gets the ball back, a chance to get it back to a 5, maybe a 6-point lead. No lead has been greater than 6 for either team in this game. Here come the Lady Cats, I beg your pardon. After losing the ball, Kate Jackson gets it back, but she loses it. Here come the Lady Owls the other way. Kind of frenetic pace. Griswold will throw it in, and good. Griswold will just kind of throw it up there on her drive, and it went in. It's 24-23. Here comes Jaylee Owens the other way for Aledo. She'll drive, and she gets fouled on the drive. Going to the basket, she'll go to the free throw line, and that is the 5th team foul against Joshua. Scorer's mentality for Jaylee Owens. It's pretty much been a 6-player rotation for Donnie Ott. The only person he's brought off the bench has been Jaylee. First free throw on the way for Owens is good. 38.7 seconds to play here in the third quarter as a substitution for Joshua comes in. That's Hadley Soto. She will replace Dylan Hammonds on the post. So they will go a little bit short here as well. Points have been at a premium here so far in this quarter. Aledo with only 5 before this second Owens free throw. Make it 6. 26-23, the Lady Cats lead. Joshua with the basketball. Here comes Ray. To Griswold, picked up by Griffin, trying to work off a screen from MJ Allen. Now Griswold will drive, now gets the screen. She will go to the right side. She gets cut off. She has to get rid of the basketball. Down to 20 seconds. Griswold, after playing catch, gets it back. Kate Jackson with the defense forces her back out. Griswold will drive on the right side. Now she has some room. Now she'll kick it back out. Gets it stolen. Brenda Clark with the steal. Gets it to Kate Jackson, who should have been foul, but they don't call it. But Aledo has it. Griffin for a 3 at the top. It's short, and that ends the third quarter.
Kevin, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, the defense has just been extraordinary, and it's really nothing just loose with the basketball or bad turnovers or just throwing the ball away. It's just been great defense by both sides. Aledo still leads. We have one more quarter to go. Maybe, hopefully for Aledo, one more quarter.
I can't believe we still have a quarter left to play.
Lady Cats lead by a score of 26-23. Here, we'll keep it here as Parker will get you up to date on some of the folks supporting Aledo Lady Cats basketball here on NTXVarsitySports.com.
A big thank you to Hiley Mazda. Head to Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth today. Their new state-of-the-art facility is conveniently located just off I-30. Exit Las Vegas Trail and experience top-notch service and hassle-free buying. Don't forget to ask about this month's special offer. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth is family-owned and operated for over 30 years. And a big thank you to H5 Sports Barns for supporting our Aledo Coaches Show podcast. H5 Sports Barn and NYE Physio and Performance can help unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Lady Bearcats. With expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training, H5 Sports Barn are proud supporters of the Lady Bearcats.
We are courtside here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Kevin Longquist and Parker Burrows here. Leading scorers for Aledo at this point. Liz Griffin with 12, Brooklyn Dempsey with 7. Jaylee Owens has 4. And Kate Jackson has 3. Joshua ball to start the fourth quarter here as the arrow favors them. And so the arrow will flip back toward Aledo and does so on the next high ball. And so Joshua possession here, a 3-point lead for the Lady Cats. The winner on to meet Amarillo Tascosa. 3 from the right side is now put up, pump fake, no actually. Ball is tipped and stolen by Kate Jackson of Aledo, and she gets fouled by Austin Miller of Joshua. Well, I'll tell you what, Hadley Soto had me faked out because she looked like she was going to go hoist up a 3. She didn't lift her legs, so she didn't travel, but she lifted up her arms as if she was going to do. Then she was going to do it. Then she dribbled into the paint. And then that's when the scrum occurred, and Aledo gets the ball here. Brenna Clock will dump it in to Tiara Butler off the iron, no good. Rebound comes to Austin Hammonds, but she gets fouled by Kate Jackson, who comes underneath her on that. And Jackson is waving her right hand because she smacked it against Dylan Hammonds on that inbounds pass. First foul against Kate Jackson. First foul against Aledo, so one team foul for each team here. 26-23 lead for the Lady Cats here. Early moments of the fourth quarter. Ray with the ball for Joshua. 3 from the right side to tie is no good. That was coming off the hands of Hadley Soto. The ball is tipped out of bounds, and it looks like it will stay with Joshua. Brenna Clock was pleading her case with the officials, saying, no, it went off of them. They're saying, no, it's off of you, so Joshua will retain possession. 5 seconds. They got to get it in 5 seconds. 3, 4. They get a bounce pass to Griswold, who will drive the paint. She'll kick it back out. A 3 to tie. On the way. It's off the iron. No good. That was off the hands of Soto. And here come the Lady Cats the other way. Brooklyn Dempsey with it. Gets it off to Kate Jackson. Now she'll swing it to the right side to Griffin. Now to Dempsey at the top. She's picked up by Ray. She hasn't put it on the floor yet, so Brooklyn can do it. She's trying to work off a screen from Tiara Butler. Dempsey will take the shot. No good. Great rebound, though, by Brenna Clock, but she gets it taken from her by Joshua's Chloe Griswold. Here come the Lady Owls the other way in a one-possession game. Griswold will drive, and I think we got a timeout here called by Rick Dixon, and he will take it here. 2 left for Joshua here. We'll keep it here, and just this reminder, again, that Amarillo Tascosa won its other area playoff game over El Paso Chapin 62-20. So the 10th ranked Lady Rebels are moving on to the regional semifinals once again. This is just a grind. It's an absolute grind. It's going to be valuing the basketball as we talked about at the Open here, Parker Burrows, as we bring you back in. And so this team is going to have to just get it more locked down on the defensive end. They've done a great job now for
a 3-point game.
Yeah.
6 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. I think it comes down to who's scrappiest.
Yep.
And who can avoid the fouls.
Chloe Griswold leads the way with 11 points for Joshua. The 3-point shooting for this Lady Owls team has not been there tonight. Again, you're looking at 2 players that are shooting well above 35%. Hadley Soto at only 38%. She only has a two-pointer, and then Austin Miller, who is shooting from 42%, she only has 1 3. So these three-pointers have not come in bunches like Joshua works into its offense here. So good defense by the Lady Cats. But for the Lady Cats, their leading scorer, Tiara Butler, averaging nearly 13 points a game, had a double-double in the opener against Colleyville Heritage, held scoreless. So credit Joshua for shutting her down. Joshua with the ball here following the timeout. Grizzle works against Kate Jackson on the right side. Now she'll pick it up in between the middle. She's got to move it. She's trying to work off a screen. She will drive between the paint. A three at the top to tie. We are tied. Rack it up for Hadley Soto here. She got a screen from Griswold. She got her set shot right at the top of the circle, and we start over at 26. 5:45 to play here in the fourth quarter. Brooklyn Dempsey on the drive, gets fouled as she puts it up, and she'll be shooting free throws. Foul will go against Alexi Ray, her second personal. 2 free throws coming here from Brooklyn Dempsey on the way. Good. So Aledo regains the lead here at 5:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Brenna Clock checks out, and Jaylee Owens checks in. Again, really been one player that Donnie Ott has used coming off the bench, and he's kind of used her wisely. He likes to go small pretty much for this lineup for the most part. Second free throw for Dempsey is good. She is up to 9 points, and it is 28-26 in favor of the Lady Cats here in Godley. Ray with the basketball, Owens with the defense, screen for Ray on the right side. She'll drive to the lane, she'll lay it up and good. Nice job there by Ray. She put a move on Owens, and she beat her off the dribble, got to the basket and laid it up and in. Good move there by Ray. She's up to 7 points. Here comes Aledo the other way. Brooklyn Dempsey crosses the pass to Kate Jackson, who gets it stolen out of her hands by Chloe Griswold, but she can't control it. The Lady Cats get it back. Kate Jackson will drive. She's double teamed. She gets it to Jaylee Owens. A three at the top. It's off the iron, no good. Fight for the loose ball, and the long rebound comes to Griswold of Joshua. She'll drive against Owens, and she'll get fouled on the drive. It'll be on the floor, so no free throws for Joshua here in a game that's tied at 28. Just a couple of ticks under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
We have 4 people. This is your only sport.
Pass comes into Ray. Gets it over to Griswold. Holds it high over her head. This would be a monumental win for Joshua. Of course, Aledo trying to use that tradition and experience to pick up the victory here in the area round and get to the regional semifinals for the second straight year. Ray, a three at the top for the lead. She's got it. And Joshua takes the lead at 31-28. Ray with 2 3-pointers in this quarter. And now Aledo finds itself trailing here. Still a lot of time, over 4 minutes. Dempsey to Butler, puts it on the floor. Back outside to Griffin, to Owens. Now to Jackson on the right side. She'll pick up the dribble, gets it off to Brooklyn Dempsey. Picked up by Ray. Tries to work off a Butler screen. Dempsey will lose it, but Jackson is there for Aledo, and it'll go out of bounds. It will stay with the Lady Cats with 4:07 to play here in our fourth quarter. 31-28, Joshua leads. It's their first lead since the early moments of the second quarter. Aledo has held the lead pretty much since the middle of the second quarter and on. Brooklyn Dempsey working off a Butler screen. Jackson, a three at the top to tie. It's off the iron short. Here come the Lady Owls the other way. Griswold with the basketball, trying to make this a 2-possession lead. She'll back it out. A three at the right side, on the way, off the iron, no good, but the rebound coming to Ray, and she will get fouled on the floor. A three from the top from Austin Miller was short, but we got the, I think we got a timeout called by Joshua under the floor there as Ray came up with the basketball. I think that's what we got as a timeout. Yep, timeout calling for Joshua. We'll take a 30-second timeout here following the Joshua timeout. Lady Owls are down to, I think it's 1 now. They lead Aledo 31-28, 3:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Back after this timeout.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Back here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table, Kevin Lonnquist and Parker Burrows here. Want to remind you that Aledo Bearcats basketball, the boys, will be on the air here on NTXVarsitySports.com this coming Tuesday night in Argyle when they take on the Birdville Hawks. Hawks ranked number 6 in the Class 5A poll, so a big challenge there for Drew Baker's boys team. But a great challenge here for the Lady Cats. They trail 31-28, 3:46 to play. Joshua inbounds the ball following the timeout it called. Again, the Lady Owls are down to 1. Griswold with it after she fights it off from harassing defense from Griffin. Joshua trying to make this a 2-possession game here. Griffin with the defense now playing catch between Soto and Miller with it. Butler with the defense now to Ray. She'll drive on Jackson, gets it off to Austin Miller. To Griswold, she'll drive, picks up her feet. Jackson out there to front her, and they left Griswold alone. There was a defensive assignment blown, and we got a held ball situation. The tie ball will favor Aledo. Boy, that was near disaster for the Lady Cats because 2 defenders ran at Griswold, then they ran away from her, and the left side of the floor was wide open. But fortunately, one of the Lady Cats, I think it was Dempsey that came over there and forced the tie ball. Now the next arrow favors Joshua. Aledo trailing by 3, but with the basketball. Inside pass to Brenna Clock. She'll pass it outside to Brooklyn Dempsey. Drives the left baseline, gets it knocked out of her hands to Kate Jackson, to Tiara Butler, to Liz Griffin on the right baseline. Tries to work off a Butler screen. Down to 2:40 to play here in our 4th quarter. Lady Cats down by 3. Griffin tries to work off a clock screen. Now to Butler on the right side. To Dempsey in front of the Aledo bench. She'll hold it up to Jackson. Dumps it inside to Butler, but it's too far and stolen by Joshua. It was too far of a pass, and Miller comes up with it for Joshua here. Lady Owls up by 3 with the ball. Alexi Ray, we're nearing the 2-minute mark of this game. Griswold with the dribble. She's picked up, she threw an elbow on Liz Griffin, but they didn't call it here. Screened her off, if you will. Joshua with the basketball, under 2 minutes to go. Griswold, they're trying to play keep away here, and Aledo's I think gonna have to come out there and foul them because they've got the lead. The ball gets tipped, and it's knocked around. Here come the Lady Cats get it, and Kate Jackson gets fouled from behind by Austin Miller. I mean, they were definitely pulling the ball out, the Lady Owls were, and then once Kate Jackson was able to get in there, she came up with the steal, but they had a fast break opportunity, and then the foul coming against Austin Miller of Joshua here, and I think Donnie Ott will call a timeout, which he does here, and Aledo is down to 2. With 1:41 to play here, Lady Cats are down 3 at 31-28 here. Again, the big story in this game, Tiara Butler, no points for the Lady Cats. Liz Griffin has only 1 3-pointer in this half. She's up to 12. That's the game high for the Lady Cats. I said a while ago, Parker, I said first one to 35 wins. And I think we're going to be there for that.
I think that might be right, Kevin, if we get to 35.
If we get to 35. Well, Aledo would like to get to at least 32 because that's what they're going to need at this point to try and win the game. Now, the Lady Cats had scored 20 points in the first half, so they've only scored 8 points in this second half.
I am very impressed, Kevin, with how packed both sides are and how many people we have listening right now to us. So thank you to everybody listening to us and tuning in and letting us be here for this crazy basketball game.
1:41 to play here in the 4th quarter. Aledo will have the ball coming out of its timeout. Again, the Lady Cats have 2, Joshua with 1. Points have been hard to come by for the Lady Cats pretty much from the start. Same story for Joshua. They've had a big second half there from Alexi Ray. She averages 9 points a game. She's up to 10, so right about where she does all the time. On the floor for Aledo, Jackson, Butler, Griffin, Dempsey, and Owens. Griffin will take the ball on the inbounds pass. She'll get it to Jackson on the left wing. Foul line extended. Picked up by Griswold. Gets it over to Dempsey. On the right wing, she'll drive. Holds it up. Gets it stolen by Ray of Joshua. Turnover against the Lady Cats. Now they got to pressing at the ball back here because we're down to a minute 20 to go. Pass is knocked away, but recovered by Ray. Owens went for the steal, couldn't get it. Here come the Lady Owls, and we got a foul on Liz Griffin going against Austin Miller. Griffin picks up her. Looks like that'll be her first personal. And 3 team fouls against the Lady Cats. They gotta, so that means Joshua will inbound the ball. We're getting toward 60-second mark of this game. They got to come out and foul here. They got to try and extend the game, the Lady Cats do. Owens gets the foul as she knocks the ball out of Alexi Ray's hand. That's now 4 team fouls. Clock stops with 1:06 to play here in the fourth quarter. 31-28, Joshua leads on a 3-pointer at the top from Alexi Ray. Pass comes in bounds. Again, the Lady Cats have got a foul, and they do, I think we got a timeout. Yep, there was a double team on the baseline there applied by Jaylee Owens and Liz Griffin, but Joshua has to burn its last timeout at the 1:02 mark here of the fourth quarter. Aledo coming into this game at 25-7, riding an 11-game winning streak. Joshua at 34-4. Each team with big by-district round wins on Monday night. Aledo 48-21 over Colleyville Heritage, and for Joshua 62-29 over Pascal here. You were going to say, Parker.
It almost feels like a boxing match, Kevin.
You know, it's a physical game, which we kind of expected here. Points are at a premium, but again, in girls basketball, you can see what Rick Dixon is trying to do here. The Joshua head coach, he's trying to pull the ball out because he's got the lead. So he's working with some house money here, if you will.
Joshua's just playing keep away right now.
Yeah. And so Aledo, by the way, with 4 team fouls. So the next Aledo team foul, which will have to come quickly here to try and save the clock, will put Joshua at the line. Got to stop the clock, but then the risk is you got to hope that they miss their free throws.
There's that crowd we were talking about.
Good crowd on both sides here. The Joshua students are all in attendance here, trying to see if they can pick up that win over Aledo. Lady Cats are ranked 14th in the state. Inbounds pass comes to Griswold. She's got to get fouled. She gets it to Ray. They're playing keep away. Kate Jackson's on her. They get it away, and the pass is knocked out of bounds off the hands of Tiara Butler. They went to the entry pass down on the baseline to Hadley Soto, but it gets knocked out of bounds by Tiara Butler, and the clock stops with 55 seconds to go. Joshua ball. Inbounds pass comes to Miller for Joshua. Comes to Soto. Now to the right side. They're playing keep away there. They'll get it to Soto. She'll get it to Miller at the top. Now over to Ray. She'll drive. She'll throw the cross-court pass to Griswold. Down to 35 seconds. Time getting away from the Lady Cats. And finally, Kate Jackson is able to foul Hadley Soto with 32.9 seconds to go here. It stops the clock, but again, it puts Soto at the free throw line for Joshua. Soto with 5 points in this game. Again, 2 free throws. It's Kate Jackson's 5th personal. Or is it?
Let's go, Hadley!
I have a little bit of confusion here. They're showing 3 fouls on Kate Jackson, so and the official held up 5, but he was corrected on that. First free throw on the way, and it rims out. No good for Hadley Soto. But a free throw makes this a 2-possession game, and Aledo has got to find every way possible to extend this out. 32.9 seconds to go. Second free throw coming for Hadley Soto. On the way. Good. 32-28, Joshua leads. Again, Joshua's out of timeouts. Rick Dixon is trying to get a substitution, and he does. He gets MJ Allen into the ball game. Soto will check out. Lady Cats, here they come. They gotta hurry. Dempsey up the floor. Down to 25 seconds. She will drive on the right side. Loses it out of bounds, but it's knocked out of her hands by Alexi Ray. And Aledo will retain with 24 seconds to play. Owens to trigger the inbounds pass. Gets it to Brooklyn Dempsey. Tries to work off a screen. She will drive. Now kicks it out to Griffin with Miller on her. And now we got a holding foul on Miller, who was asking the official, telling the official, well, Griffin tried to use a forearm shiver against her. But the good news for Joshua, as far as they're concerned, that's only their 4th team foul. 17.9 seconds to play. 4-point lead for Joshua. Griffin with the ball. Will drive the left baseline. Gets it to Owens. A 3 from the left side. It's good. Off the backboard and in. Down to 8.7, 8.4 seconds to go. It's 32-31. Joshua in the lead. Aledo will burn its 2nd timeout. Or 3rd timeout, rather. They're down to 1. And now it's quickly here where the Lady Cats have got to foul. But it's going to be a long court situation for them. The only benefit here is that it is a 1-possession game either way. If you can get the quick foul, they can't go for the steal. They've got a foul here at 8.4 seconds to go in this game. Now we have a clock problem here because the clock is showing 90 seconds. And so I saw 8.4. I think they're trying to correct it.
I think they were trying to put 9 seconds on.
Is that what they were trying to do? Okay, I thought that they kind of got a whistle there earlier. So they're going to probably put a little bit more time on the clock. They had stopped it with 8.4. And the official said it's got to be at 9 seconds. So I think that's what the holdup here is. Aledo called the timeout off the Jaylee Owens 3. Owens for Aledo up to 7 points in this game. They're still having issues. I think we now got the clock settled at 9 seconds. Aledo timeout, but again, the Lady Cats, if there were 19 seconds to go, yeah, maybe you go for the steal, but with that little time left and a 1-point game, you got a foul. What I was saying is that it's going to be a 1-possession game either way for the Lady Cats. You get the foul, 1 or 2 free throws makes it a 3-pointer. Aledo is going to have to tie with a 3 or tie with the 2 if one of the 2 free throws is made. But again, it all comes down to you got to get the foul quickly. And of course, if they can steal the inbounds pass, that would be even better as well. 9.0 seconds to go here in our game. Joshua 32, Aledo 31. Joshua ball triggering the inbounds pass to Soto. Down court pass all the way down to Griswold. She gets it, and she's immediately fouled by Liz Griffin with 7.8 seconds to go. So that went about as well as it could have gone for Aledo in terms of picking up the foul. Only 1.2 seconds went off the clock. Now you put a pretty good free throw shooter at the line in Chloe Griswold. 2 free throws for her. Everybody back for Joshua. Liz Griffin is back for Aledo. First free throw for Griswold. No good. So now all Aledo needs is maybe a 2.
If there's a foul against Joshua here, Aledo gets free throws too.
Exactly. Good point to make. And that's one thing that Rick Dixon is probably telling his team here. Second free throw coming for Griswold. 32-31, Joshua leads. Griswold on the way. Good. So Aledo needs a 2 to tie. Here come the Lady Cats. Inbounds to Kate Jackson. It gets tipped out of bounds by Chloe Griswold. Rick Dixon arguing that it should have been his team's ball, but the officials point in Aledo's direction at 6.6 to go. A 2 to tie, a 3 to win for the Lady Cats, down 33-31 here, 4th quarter. Liz Griffin drives quickly the other way, down to 3, and now Donnie Ott will call a timeout with 3.1 seconds to go. That is Aledo's last. This is going to be a quick 1, maybe 2 pass, get your shot up, and then see what happens after that. I don't know if there would be enough time for an offensive putback on that, but Aledo will inbound on the other side of the court from the bench here.
And maybe pray that you draw a foul.
You could, I would think that, I mean, I'll be honest with you though, I would expect, unless the foul is really blatant, egregious, use your adjective, they're going to probably swallow their whistle and let the ladies settle it on the floor. 3.1 seconds to go. Joshua trying to pull off the upset and advance to the semifinals. Both teams are out of timeouts as we get that confirmed from the Fort Worth crew. So Aledo, again, down to 33-31. Trying to find a way here, and Joshua trying to pull off this big victory here. here in Godley. Class 5A Division I, Region I area playoff game. Griffin will trigger the inbounds pass. Butler, Clock, Dempsey, and Jackson on the floor. No Owens for Aledo. 3.1 seconds to go. Here we go. Griffin will throw it in to Dempsey. Gets it on the tip. She'll take the three at the top for the win. It's off the backboard. It's no good. And Joshua survives. And Aledo season is unfortunately over. Well, the pass from Liz Griffin to Brooklyn Dempsey got tipped by Chloe Griswell. She leads this team with steals for for Joshua. And when she was able to make that play in deflection, Brooklyn Dempsey was able to corral it. And she ran to the right side. She fired up a three, but it was well off the mark on the right side. And unfortunately for the Lady Cats, a magnificent season that was the District 5-5A championship going at 12-0 comes to a close tonight here in Godley. Final score once again was Joshua 33 and Aledo 31. Lady Owls improved to 35-4. The Lady Cats end their season at 25-8. Back with our postgame show following this timeout, and you're listening to Aledo Lady Cats basketball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic Sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Well, the cruelty of playoff basketball was witnessed tonight here, unfortunately, for the Aledo Lady Cats. They had a 6-point lead on a couple of occasions in the second quarter after they trailed 9-4 after the first quarter. Then they had a 20-16 lead going to the half, but unfortunately they fell behind in the early stages of the fourth quarter, and the Joshua Lady Owls had enough to hang on. A 3-point attempt to win the game for Aledo by Brooklyn Dempsey was wide, and the Lady Cat season comes to a close. Kevin Longquist here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table here in Godley, following Joshua's 33-31 victory over Aledo tonight here in this Class 5A Division I Region I area playoff game. So Aledo's season comes to an end at 25-8. Joshua advances on to take on Amarillo Tascosa in the regional semifinals. We'll give you the scoring totals here quickly for the Lady Cats here. Liz Griffin finished with a team-high 12 points. Brooklyn Dempsey had 9. Jaylee Owens had 7. And Kate Jackson had 3 points. The Lady Cats just Points were hard to come by, and of course the biggest scoring thing, the name that I did not read to you, was their leading scorer, Tiara Butler, who averages nearly 13 points a game. Did not score. Did not score in this game. Only maybe took a handful of shots. Just was covered really well on the post. Just could not get anything going at all. Great credit the defense by Joshua going after her, but unfortunately, she just did not have much to do with the Aledo offense tonight. And that's kind of the way this game ended. I think if they get some productivity from her, even maybe half of her productivity, again, averaging 13 points, if they get a few buckets from her, maybe that's the difference in the game, Parker. But unfortunately, that's why you have scouting reports, and that's why you're locking into somebody else to see if you can take the best away from somebody, and that's what Joshua did tonight.
Joshua knew who to cover, I think, and there was a lot of, like we said earlier, a boxing match. It was answered calls. You made a three-point attempt, and they were going to go up and try to do the same thing.
Yeah, the leading scores for Joshua tonight, they were led in scoring by Chloe Griswold. She had 12, and then Alexi Ray, who heated it up, she had a couple of three-pointers in the quarter, or she had one three-pointer in the fourth quarter. She finished with 10. Alexi Ray finished with 6, and then a three-pointer by Austin Miller. She had 3 points, and then Dylan Hammonds had 2 points in the ball game for Joshua tonight here as they come away with a 33-31 victory here, joined by Donnie Ott, the head coach of the Aledo Lady Cats here as he's putting his head on. Well, Coach, we knew this was going to be a grudge match, a physical encounter here, and it was everything that I think we kind of anticipated. Give your thoughts on what you saw tonight.
We missed a lot of shots inside. The beginning of the game, we did just what we weren't supposed to do, and that's shoot a bunch of threes against their zone. And we scored 4 points out of doing that. And then we started to kind of do things like we should have, play a little inside out and make our shots easier. Got the lead, had the lead going in the fourth, and then kind of melted down there in the fourth. We had shots, opportunities by the block, but we kept pump faking and not going up and not being strong. And they blocked shots because we did multiple shot fakes instead of trying to go up with the contact. And then, we didn't execute at the end of the game like we were supposed to. I mean, the play was not to shoot it from the volleyball line. We had a set that we had drawn up, and it was there. We just chose not to execute it all the way to the play. But hats off to Joshua. I mean, Joshua, they came. I told the girls they were going to play hard. I told the girls they were going to fight. It's everything we thought. We just didn't do what we needed to do.
The one thing, too, is that they did a great defensive job against Tiara Butler tonight. Obviously, your leading scorer held scoreless tonight, and it looked just like she just couldn't get any looks. And I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, too, when your leading scorer is taken away from you like this.
She just missed some shots inside. We didn't get her the ball right. Like, we missed passes inside. Like, we had opportunities. Like, there late in the game, we had a nice post up. She was wide open. We threw it over the top, and, we just threw it long. I mean, we looked for her inside, but we didn't enter the ball good. We didn't make good passes into her. And then offensive rebound, we collectively didn't offensive rebound, and so that hurts. And T gets a lot of her points off offensive rebounds, and they did a good job keeping her off the block, keeping her off the boards, and we just didn't ultimately get it done. And hats off, like I said, to Coach Dixon. Does a great job and had his girls ready to play.
I wanted to ask you a little bit, too. I thought the defensive performance by Kate Jackson tonight really stood out. She did a great job against Chloe Griswold, especially because it looked like you switched from Liz Griffin to Kate on Griswold in the second half. But I thought Kate, overall game, even though she scored 3 points, but I thought her game was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, we switched it up a little bit there to give her some length on Chloe, but also to free Liz up a little bit so she didn't have to spend as much energy on defense. We did what we needed to do defensively. When you hold a team to 33 points, you should win the game. And we didn't.
You lose a couple seniors from this group. Of course, you lose Jaylee Owens, you lose Brenna Clock, you'll also lose Liz Griffin, Tiara Butler, of course. So just talk about what you're looking at in the future, because you got some key pieces coming back. Kate Jackson's coming back, Brooklyn Dempsey's coming back. So just a couple of other key pieces there. Sarah Edwards will be coming back. So just the things that you're looking for, and then just maybe what your sub-varsity program could bring in the future.
Yeah, both teams did a great job, won the district. I feel good about our youth coming up. We got a good returning core with Kate and Sarah Edwards and Brooke, and, we got some kids like Sawyer and Kate Lowe and stuff. They're going to have to step up next year and play some big minutes. So,
It'll be a change going into 6A, but I'm excited about it. I think these kids will work hard and they'll be ready for next year.
Well, it ended more earlier than we all wanted it to, but I thank you for the 2 games that we had with you this week. I thought it was a great experience. Thank you for taking us along for the ride.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Donnie Ott, the head coach of the Aledo Lady Cats, following tonight's unfortunately 33-31 season-ending loss in this Class 5A Division I Region I area playoff game. Aledo closes its season at 25-8. And now Joshua advances to the 5A Region 1 semifinals in Division 1 to take on Amarillo Tascosa. We want to thank Hiley Mazda for sponsoring our broadcast table and everyone who's come along for the ride as far as the Lady Cats are concerned in this one. And so we want to remind you that we are still not done doing Aledo playoff basketball, because the boys will be coming up this Tuesday night. They will be taking on number 6 Birdville in the Class 5A Division 1 Region 1 by-district playoff. That's a 7 o'clock start at Argyle High School. 6:30 will be the pregame show, and we will bring you all the action of the Bearcats taking on the Birdville Hawks. Once again, the final score here in Godley, it was Joshua 33 and Aledo 31. The Lady Cat season is over, but congratulations to them on a wonderful season that included an undefeated District 5-5A championship. I'm Kevin Lonnquist. So long from Godley.
Texas drivers, it's time to move up to Mazda at Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Get a 2025 Mazda CX-5 Turbo with 0.9% APR, or lease for just $259 a month. Or go electrified with the 2026 Mazda CX-70 FEV with 0.9% APR, or lease from $299 a month. Plus $750 Mazda loyalty or $500 military appreciation. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth and HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com.